What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 108 here at Howlor Town. It's Park to Prem. We're in the Prem. It's episode number 2 of this season, and we start on the profile of Roger McCassie, because guess what, everyone? He's gone on loan to France again, and he's only gone and got a blooming work permit, which is absolutely fantastic. I really like how good this guy looks like he could be. Media description, Wonderkid. He's got like the biggest of big brains for a 19-year-old. His mentals are so good. He looks like he could be an incredible... I don't want to say centre-back, I want to say wing-back, but I know I'm going to be memed on for it. He could be a more defensively minded box-to-box midfielder, I think. But in our system that requires a lot of passing, a lot of composure on the ball and, us to move the ball around quickly, doesn't really fit it. I genuinely think a wing-back is probably going to be the best position to play him in. And I know I'm going to be memed on for that. I know I am. But yeah, I feel like when you look at it here, there's not really too big of a gap in his game. So he comes back at the end of the year, and when that happens, he may well be getting on with some new positional training. But anyway, since you were last here, we've played a decent chunk of games. We, of course, started the season with a game against Villa, and you can see since then we have played 5 matches. Today we've got a live com doubleheader. We're going to be doing Chelsea in the Premier League, and then 2 days later, it's EFL Cup at home against Tottenham. And well, what you'll notice is, to start this year, we're actually winning games, which is great to see. Now, Villa, who we beat last episode, I didn't really realise, but Villa had a tycoon takeover a few years ago now in the save, about 6 years ago. They spent, we'll have a look here, £195 million on players, and we beat them 1-0. So I'm very pleased about that. I feel like that makes the last episode's result even better. You can see since then we've played a slew of games, some in the league, one in the cup, which we won. And well, the first of these games was against Norwich City, a trip down to Carrow Road. Delia Smith was not on the pitch at half-time, although come full-time she might well have gone onto the pitch for a bit of inspiration. The players needed it for them, of course. We've met Norwich before. We've beaten them 9-0 before. Wasn't quite the same this time around, but still a very convincing win. Great to see Shvetsov getting 2 and Turnbull getting 2. Some really nicely worked goals. This was actually one of the games where we didn't dominate possession as much as in some of these others. To be honest, we've been really impressive. I've been delighted with how we started the season, not just in terms of results, but just in terms of overall play. The finishing in this game has been pretty good, but that's kind of been the exception. Shvetsov and Turnbull have had more opportunities than you would... well, think they've had based on the number of goals they've scored. They've missed a fair few in this game. You can see the goals came fairly late on, and well, at 4-1 up, we of course conceded in Howlor fashion to make it 4-2. But nevertheless, a great little result away from home. Not superb defensively, but we looked convincing and we always looked in control, which was great. The next game we had against Southampton, they scored. We had a sending off in the 49th minute. Yes, I talked about it last episode, putting the tackling on hard. I have now turned it off hard for the wing-backs. I felt like the wing-backs were kind of over-committing into tackles anyway and getting caught out, given the fact they are the only players out wide. Lazarus, you naughty boy, he got a red card. Southampton scored. I can't stay mad at him though, because he's continuing to develop. He's looking really good, the 20-year-old now. But yeah, that was a disappointing defeat. We then took on Barnsley in the EFL Cup, a 3-0 win, a rotated team here. Highland getting a little bit of match fitness, which was good. Charlie Brown, man of the match performance for him. He looked really solid in this game. And to be honest, I'm pretty excited about his long-term potential here at the club. I really feel like he could be a top quality plan B, I suppose, in the striking department. You may also notice that in that game, Molyneux got a goal from the penalty spot. He's still at the club. He's kind of the backup of all backups now, but given the fact that he's been at the club so long, I just feel like it's nice to have him around. 133 games, we can't forget that contribution. And, well, he got a goal in that game as well. The next game we had against Arsenal, we took the lead in this game, and I have been fiddling around with set-piece routines this season. It's something that I'm going to hold my hands up and say I don't do a great deal of normally when I play FM, but I felt like this year I needed to try and get every little thing going in my favour, so I did look at set-pieces, and, well, we got a goal in this game early on. Dylan Turnbull with it, using that aggression to get on the end of it. And then they scored 2 of the most ridiculous goals you're going to see all season. We lost this 2-1. We didn't deserve to lose this. Away from home against Arsenal, they had a few more shots than us, but we really did dominate possession and the overall flow of the game. Thomas got a crazy goal, and then Denzel in the 94th minute on the counter-attack from a corner. Again, me fiddling around with set pieces and maybe committing a few too many men up the pitch. He broke away, and he just smashed it into the top corner. I cried after this result. It was heartbreaking. The good news is we did bounce back and we took on Swansea City, the team favourite to finish bottom. They didn't make it easy for us. Dylan Turnbull got us off the mark in this game after an hour gone. I was actually in the process of subbing him off as he scored. So you can imagine when he scores, changed my mind quite quickly. And well, then they broke back against us. They got a goal in at 1-1. My heart was sinking, folks. I was thinking, we've lost a game narrowly against Arsenal. This is a relegation rival. We need to be beating them. And then in the 93rd minute, Turnbull turned up big. It was actually Matatovic with a defence-splitting pass. And Turnbull got the rebound to make it 2-1. So with those results, and a good little start really, 3 wins and 2 defeats, we're up in 6th, everyone. This is unheard of. We're not used to being here. Of course, today we are going to be taking on Chelsea. They've not lost yet this year. They're quite a good team. They've not actually won the league the last couple of years, but you can see they've always been right up there. Last season they finished 5th, but they're quite good. Henrik Bittner is their best player. He's 20. He's 20 and he's quite good. He's very good, isn't he? It's a bit upsetting. He's nuts. How much did they pay for him? Okay, that makes me less upset. But either way, he looks quite good. Might be a bit of a test for our team today, this one. But we will see how we get on. And you can see here, Frank Lampard is still their manager. He's been at them as long as we've been at our club, which is really interesting. At least I assume that. He hasn't been sacked, has he? Nope. He's been there for 12 years. We've been there for almost as long as that. One day we'll be there longer. We'll be at Towler for longer than Frank Lampard is at Chelsea. I'm confident of that. We're going to get him sacked this year, I've got a feeling. But yes, we've got Chelsea to kick things off, and then we're going to be taking on Tottenham in the EFL Cup. You can see it just looking at the stats. Dylan Turnbull up there on the goal scoring chart. Lazarus, he's already had 1 sending off. He's also got 3 yellow cards, so he's quite familiar with the bookings. As I said, I have been kind of tweaking things around a little bit, so I've got the take more risks turned off because I felt like our wing-backs were giving the ball away a lot, and I've also got tackle harder off. But overall in the midfield, just having this setup, having the players on tackle harder, we are certainly winning the ball back quite quickly and holding on to it well, which is great to see. Part of me does want to switch Highland to deep line playmaker on defend, but the issue with that is that he's really not that good defensively. 8 marking, 6 tackling. It almost feels like a bit of a waste, although we have been caught out a few times on the break, so it's something I'm very mindful of, but at the moment, we're vastly overperforming. I didn't talk about it last episode, but our media prediction is 17th this year, so the bookies don't think we're going to go down. Also worth noting, another takeover might or might not be happening. I'm bored of them at this point. If something happens, you'll know, and I'll probably be in tears. But yeah, we may be having a board takeover. It could happen. I didn't talk about it last episode, but Morrigan has become club captain and I've made Lazarus vice-captain. Just a bit of a passing of the guard, I suppose. We don't have too many natural-born leaders that are regular starters. That's somewhat to be expected given the age of our squad. But Morrigan here has, 14 leadership, really good determination as well. I feel like he's got the potential to be here for the long haul, and so he makes for quite good captaincy material. I will say, so far this year, despite the fact his average rating isn't particularly good, he really has made some important saves for us and, won us games single-handedly. But anyway, enough fluffing around, making up fluff. We need to get into today's game. Although there is one more thing I need to do, and that is the fact that Nicky Richards last episode, I didn't call Nicky Richards at one point, and some people were like, you need to nickname him the name that you called him. So with that in mind, I now need to go and find the comment. What was the name I gave him? It wasn't Nicky Richards. I just made up a name for him. I'm sure you guys are screaming it at the top of your lungs now. It was Ricky Williams. So yeah, this is a bit like a school teacher, where they maybe can't get a kid's name right, and so they just kind of give them a different name. I've basically become that. So I'm sorry. From this point onwards, Nicky Richards, you're now Ricky Williams. Some weird stuff happens. I feel like we can do this at this point because he's not featured too much in the first team. But yes, for any future people who get confused in the comments, explain to them who Ricky Williams is. He is now Ricky. He doesn't get a say in it. So I'm sorry, Nicky. I've nicked your nickname. You're now Ricky. Weird stuff happens in Football Manager. Yesterday was a weird episode. If you watched it, obviously, you know. If you didn't watch it, well, then you don't know how we made £70 million in sales. And I'm a little bit surprised you've made it to this point in the video, if I'm honest. But anyway, let's get into this first game of today's episode against Chelsea. As I said, I'm not overly convinced with the system that we're using. I've still been tweaking a few player instructions. I've actually taken a few off the attackers, for example. But for the most part, I just want to show a degree of patience. Anyway, we'll see how we get on here as Maggi has a header. It's cleared away. Turnbull back post. Mariba gets it away. Oh my word. Andre flying into the tackle. Have been rotating things a little bit. Gisiel's not had a particularly good start to the year. So I have been giving Portuguese Volta some chances. And Maggi out here on the right. Can he do a magic act to Douglas? Weird to see our two centre-backs out in the wide areas, but it's just the way we've transitioned into defence. Oh no, Bittner's on the ball. We've already seen how good he is. He's really tall. He's massive. Look at our players. They're scared of him. Wow. Okay, but that is not how I was expecting that run to end. I will level with you. I was half expecting the ball to end up nestled in the top corner. It's lovely weather here at Towlaw today. The gazebo, you can see, it's a good job that it's not very leaky. You know, fans can sit in there and stay dry. But yeah, Volter's, I want to give him game time, and Kisiel hasn't wowed me so far, which I'm a bit disappointed about, because I was quite excited about him at centre attacking mid. But I am still, you know, early on in the year, so I'm still tinkering around with the starting 11. I've also been fiddling with the set-piece takers, because it dawned on me after yesterday's episode that Leskinen, the Finnish centre-back that we signed, Jarno Leskinen, I believe is how you'd say his name. I don't know, I like rolling the R. Oh, he scored. Of course he has. But I realised he's really good at set-pieces. Well, I knew he was. I just hadn't put him on set-pieces. I hope I'm not the only one who does that. You know, I'm sure you've done it. You play through the first summer of a pre-season and suddenly it gets to the first game of the season and it dawns on you that you never sorted out the penalty takers. We've all been there. Anyway, Monaghan should probably do a little bit better there, but Bittner gets them a goal ahead after only 6 minutes, which is a little bit concerning. With that in mind, I'm going to do a little bit of a shouty shout. Possession has been pretty 50-50. You can see we're going to press here from the off. I don't want to afford teams time on the ball. I want us to really, you know, rush them. Try and win back possession quickly and high up the pitch. You can see Chelsea actually beat the press really well there. Now Fry out on this left-hand side to Watson, who makes an elementary pass through to... Oh, my word. Oh, my word. Someone clear it. Is it offside? Everyone stopped. Okay, I thought Bittner was about to score a crazy goal. I don't know who it was who played through the ball there. I was too busy making a very tentative Sherlock Holmes reference. I need to have a detective inquest into my defending after that. I don't know what that ball was through the middle, but it just ripped us apart. Anyway, Thomas to Mariba, former, of course, Barcelona youngster. There's still a few little Wonderkids from the start of the save game, you know, kicking around in this save game. Mariba is one of those. They switch the ball over to Fink out on this right-hand side. Is he going to think about putting in a ball into the box? He's not. He's going to go to Thomas, and then, oh my word. I mean, that's just a little bit silly, isn't it? It's a little bit silly. This might be the reality check that we needed. I've been feeling pretty good about this year. I mean, we're up in 6th with a game in hand. We pushed Arsenal all the way to the edge. I feel like, realistically this year, I just want to avoid relegation, everyone. If we finish mid-table, if we finish top half, fantastic. That's kind of where my expectations are starting to lean, given how we've started the year. But maybe this game's going to be that reality check, the fact that we've maybe had it a little bit easy so far. Anyway, ball whipped in, Bittner's under it. Volta, can you get it away? Portuguese Volta, look at him run. He can run, by the way. He can really run. Look at him go. He's like Usain Bolt. He threads through Turnbull. Please finish that, Dylan. Oh, what a save by Vile. That's the potential we have, though, to hit on the break. I do like Volta. I do like him. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. I mean, it looks like it should be said Volta. Turnbull! Oh, my word. I thought that was in. Turnbull has really been in all the right areas on set pieces. It's one element actually of Turnbull's game that we don't really acknowledge. Just Andre scores from a set piece, and it's Leskinen taking the free kick as well, who whips it in. Andre's first goal in the Premier League ever. That's exciting to see, as I am Andre's biggest fan. What a header that is. Back post in. But yeah, that's one thing I was just going to mention. Is Dylan Turnbull, I don't really acknowledge it. He's really blooming good in the air. I mean, if you look, he's got 16 heading and 15 jumping reach. Like, that's really good for a striker, considering his athleticism, his pace as well. You know, he's not the most technically gifted finisher by any means, but in terms of just his physicality on the whole, he's all round. He's all round good. That definitely plays into his favour in a very physical league like the Premier League. And on set pieces, he's a bit of a weapon. Ball come forward. There he is. Oh my word, I thought he was going to score right on cue. The keeper actually saved that. I think it was offside, so it wouldn't have counted. But yeah, you can see the long throw set routines that we've got going on. I have also set up an indirect free kick routine, which is unusual. Leskinen, Jarno, can you score for me? Can he score for me? Oh my word, I thought he was going to go in the top corner. He looks very good on set pieces, doesn't he? He's really impressed me, actually, Leskinen, since he came in. £20 million was not a small amount of money to drop. You know, was the big transfer of the summer. Granted, we didn't make a ton of moves. Oh, by the way, Igor, you might remember the Belarusian Igor. Yeah, he's gone to, I think it was Inter Milan or Roma. He has moved clubs, so he's off the table, which I'm very upset about, and I'm trying not to think about too much because it upsets me to think about. Anyway, we're still in this game. You know, I've done all this rambling as the ball nearly crosses the line on a back pass. There's half an hour left, and we're on the attack. We look pretty good here. Ox can't find the ball into the mixer, which is a shame. Ball up forward. Maggi reads it perfectly. Was it over the line? No. No, I mean, it would have been given as a goal if it had gone over the line. The back pass, though, very nearly caught them out. I realise whilst I've been rambling away, the game has continued to play out. Shvetsov this year has been a little bit underwhelming. I have changed him recently to a complete forward, which maybe plays a role, but I'm going to give Charlie Brown. We're going to give Charlie Brown the nod, everyone. He's actually quite good as a complete forward. I'm also going to bring in Gissiel for Volta. As I said, Gissiel so far, I've not been wowed. I was really hoping to be wowed as well. I thought he was going to slot in and be the Kaká of Taulor. It's not quite happened for us yet. I mean, maybe he can turn a magical off-the-bench performance in here. I am going to go more attacking, which does leave us quite exposed with the way that we play. But we'll see what we can do here. I mean, Bittner's through. He's not missing that, is he, on the half volley? He's very good. How good? I'm curious how good Mariba is. But Henrik Bittner, he's got 9 goals for the season. This is his 6th game of the season. He is just what Shvetsov is in the Championship. Bittner is in the Premier League. He's just nuts. Ball whipped in on the half volley. I mean, Morrigan actually gets a hand to it, which I have to give him some praise for. It's a shame, really, if you just looked at these stats, you'd go, hard-fought game. And to be fair, it really has been. Compared to last time we were in the Premier League when we rolled over in games like this, we have tried to play football. You know, we've not tried to hit them on the break. We've tried to play positive, tried to keep control of the ball, and we've done that for spells in this game, and we've created opportunities. Our finishing let us down a bit, and besides that, just a few little wonder goals, really. It's unfortunate in many ways. It reminds me a tad of the Arsenal game, although I feel like the Arsenal wonder goals were a bit better than the ones that we've seen in this game. Some really tidy finishes by the best striker in the league, I imagine. It's difficult to be mad about it, isn't it, really? But anyway, that is going to be all she wrote for this first game of today's episode. The next game against Tottenham, though, is only 2 days away, so I'm going to tell the boys they're unlucky. Keep them positive. But yeah, 2-day break is not a great deal of time, and I do want to do well in the EFL Cup. You know, it's a route into European football. If I'm not mistaken, the winner of the EFL Cup only gets a spot in the European Conference. I think you guys know what I mean. If you're not familiar, there is obviously the Champions League, then the Europa League, and then in real life, and I think in the next couple of years, there's another 3rd European competition coming in. And my understanding is that the winner of the EFL Cup, the League Cup, whatever you want to call it, the English competition that's a knockout that isn't the FA Cup, the winner of that goes into this conference. I think it's called the UEFA Conference. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think you all know what I mean when I kind of describe it. But anyway, the good news is that you get more rambling from me between games. And well, Macassi, look at him, he's loving it in France. He's playing 90 minutes every day. Are they playing him at centre-back? I'm curious now. Yeah, they're playing him at centre-back when he has 8 heading. He's not got the worst jumping reach in the world, but I just... 8 heading? 8 heading? Worth noting, Matcha, by the way, playing for Tottenham. Obviously, last episode we had the reunition. I don't know. We were reunited with Kostic. This episode, we're going to be reunited with Jan Matcha, who had an awful first year at Spurs. This year, though, he started quite well, which is a bit of a shame. Of course, we sold him for £33 million a year after we bought him for £10 million. So we made some pretty good money off him. It's weird, you know, we made all these sales last year and we've still got so much money left in the bank because I've not really spent a great deal. I have recently, by the way, made a few new acquisitions. Should we go through some of these young players coming through? I mean, there's a long list here. We should. Let's go through them now. So, shock horror, we've got another South African coming through. I'm really banking on the fact that there is this golden generation of South Africans appearing in this save game because this is the 3rd one who's going to be joining us. Mahono is a right back who can also play centre mid. He looks a little bit like a Lazarus. A baby Lazarus, perhaps? He's got 4 international caps at the age of 18, and he's only just turned 18. He joins us in January. Doesn't have a work permit, I don't think, which is a bit of a shame. But obviously, like Macassi, who got one on appeal, I'm hoping that, you know, down the line, if he can develop enough, we'll just be able to get it on appeal. A few more defenders joining us. We've got here Andersen, who is going to be joining us from Brazil. He's capped at under 20 level. You can see he's played fairly regular first-team football, although not done particularly well with it. But he looks like a solid little centre-back option, and we've signed him for £3.4 million, which a bargain buy. Anyway, then we get on to some really young players. So bear with me. We've got here Johan Kvist, who is a Danish fullback. He's 15 years old. He's 16 soon. And he's capped at under 21 level 7 times for Denmark. Inconsistency is a little bit of a concern, but he looks like a phenomenal talent for his age. Lots of potential as well. And we signed him up for £1.8 million, which feels like guaranteed profit, although he's not going to be joining us for another 2.5 years. So, yeah, you'll probably see him on this screen for a long while. Another fullback who's going to be joining us is Hector Tapia. He is joining us from Club America in Mexico. He's a consistent performer, has crazy speed, very good physicals for his age. At 16 years old, loads of potential as well. Determination is superb on him, got good tackling as well, good work rates, good stamina. He looks like he's going to be a really good wing-back. Let's hope he can live up to this potential and stay consistent. But yeah, they're the defensive additions, but it goes further. So the next player we have is Kabangu, who plays for Dolphin United. I don't know what... They're a team in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I mean, it is AS Dolphin Noir, so I guess it's Black Dolphins? That makes sense to me. Either way, you might wonder, how have I found this guy? Well, my scouts randomly recommended me him, and he's also got English nationality, so he just can join without a work permit, which is interesting. So yeah, we've signed him. Apparently he has some okay potential. We signed him for absolutely 0 pence. So good job on my scouts. If we can sell him on for any money at all, we've made a good sale there. Or rather good signing. I'm thinking about selling a player before I've bought them. That is kind of how I play this game a lot of the time. Anyway, the next player we have is Parvez. I'm not going to say that. Aghazamani? Maybe I could get used to saying that quickly, but it feels like a challenge. He's an Iranian international. He's 17 years old. He looks like a great little deep line playmaker. He doesn't have a work permit, unfortunately, but he has really good personality. Obviously, he's under 18, so he's very, very young, and he's already playing men's international football. I like the look of him. He could be very, very good. There's a lot of players here who could be very, very good. Anyway, a few more 15-year-olds, because we can't have enough of those. Christian Andersen is another Dane. Similarly, was playing for the Danish under-20 team. When you see a 15-year-old playing for the under-20s, it kind of jumps out as an unusual player who's probably worth scouting. He has apparently absolutely nuts potential, so hopefully he's going to live up to that. I mean, we'll see. He's got a long, long way to go. He's a centre-mid, just looks like a really good player who, if he can just improve everywhere, is going to be great. He doesn't really have any glaring weakness in his game, which is kind of unusual for a player of this age. So yeah, another one to keep an eye out on. We've also got this guy joining us, Vassilis Bilis, another Greek player. Of course, we've got Lazarus, the right back. Now we've got Vassilis, who is a Greek playmaker, a more attacking player. Similarly, actually, to the Christiansen, who we just looked at, doesn't have an obvious gap in his game as far as for a playmaker who's only 15 years old. You'll notice his birthday's not until May, so he's very, very young. And in fact, he is not going to be joining us until the 2034 summer, so in about 3 years' time. So we'll be interested to see how much he develops. My scouts recommended me him, and then I saw that Bayern Munich were in the middle of making a bid for him, and I went, you know what, German football clubs, I'm going to save you, because Bayern Munich just sign all the best, players from German teams and then use them against them for the next 10 years. We've saved them from this guy. Hopefully he turns out to be pretty good. And, well, 2 more players to go through. Pizarro is the first, probably the pick of the bunch. He joins us in January. Doesn't have a work permit, but I did manage to convince him to join without one, which was a little bit of a Christmas miracle. So that's exciting. And, of course, he joins alongside Cancina, who's another Argentine player. And, I mean, these two as a duo, they both play, on the left and right wing. One is left-footed cutting in on the right. One is right-footed cutting in on the left. They can be very complementary. The only sad bit is really they don't fit my current tactic at all. So we'll work it out in a little bit. They don't join for a while between them both. In fact, Pizarro joins soon, but Casino, we've got a few more years to figure it out. It's a problem for in 4 years' time that I should probably try and solve now, but for now, it remains a mystery. But anyway, with that welcome distraction, let's get into the Tottenham game, because I know when I go to the transfer screen, you probably see all those future transfers arranged and you go, I wonder who all those players are. I feel like it's worth sometimes giving a little introduction to them. If there was any one of those players that stood out to you as the player to look out for, I mean, you could very quickly, folks, establish the early fan club now. I mean, set up a fan club for a 15-year-old who's not joining us for 4 years or whatever. I mean, why not do it? Get ahead of the curve. But anyway, we're taking on Tottenham. We've not had a lot of time to rest for this game. Has their fixture schedule been similarly kind of compact compact? Let's have a quick look here. Yeah, they played on Sunday as well. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better because their team are going to be pretty tired. I did notice that I've actually clicked on Jedson Fernandez's profile. You can see he's still at the club. So he actually signed in 2026 because, of course, I started this save game before the January transfer window. Totally forgot that was a thing. I was thinking it was the real-life transfer. Football Manager new. Football Manager new, everyone. My word. Any other names you can recognise there? Karamoko Dembele. There's a few players there. Tadibo as well is unfortunately injured. That's a pretty fortunate injury for us because he's insane. I love the fact our scouts have recommended him and said he could generate £3 million in marketing money. Don't know where they think we're ever going to be able to afford his wages from, but that's our scouts. Anyway, I'm going to make a few changes. I'm going to bring in Gisiel to start this game. I'm going to bring in Maticevic as well, just to give the youngsters some game time. I am half tempted to rotate our strikers a little bit. You can see here Turnbull, by the way, is unhappy and wants to move to a bigger club. He needs to get over it, everyone, because I'm not letting him go. He's now got a 7-year deal at the club. So, mate, you're here for the long haul. You shouldn't have signed that long deal if you didn't want to stick around. Just wonder if there's any further changes I want to make. You know what? I'm kind of tempted to change things at the back. To rotate things a little. You know what? Deacon's injured, though. I was thinking I'd bring in Jamal Lewis and Deacon just to swap the fullbacks, but I don't really want to change one fullback and not the other. You know what? EFL Cup is important. This isn't going to be an easy game, even though we're at home. Let's hope that Tottenham have a strong team as well, so we can have a nice, hard-fought game. Looks like they are going to go with a hard-fought, kind of full-strength team, because I noticed that Wolverden here, who I think was listed as their key player, he looks really good. They signed him from Norwich, I guess, this summer. £56 million they paid for him. He looks good. I don't know if he looks £56 million good. But this does look like a full-strength team that Tottenham are unleashing upon us. So this hopefully will be a good game. Maybe we can get a slightly better result than we did against Chelsea, although it feels like a tiny bit of a tall order. I did talk about it last episode, but some people mentioned, Jack, I would really like to see lots of games this year, and I'm inclined to agree. I feel like the first season in the Premier League, especially if you can go on a little cup run, and just, all the big games that you have, they matter more, I feel like, in your first season when every point matters just that little bit more. So there will be more live comms than last season, because last season did go by fairly quickly, and I don't know, first season back in the Premier League, it feels like every game is up for grabs, and if the game against Chelsea is anything to go by, I don't feel like we're going to get blown out in too many games massively. I mean, cue us now to lose this one 4-0 probably, but yeah, I'm optimistic that compared to last time we were in the Premier League that we should be able to do well here. As Gisiel's through, can he get his first goal for the club? He hits the woodwork. I mean, taking him out of the match squad for a few games just to kind of make him realise his performances haven't been up to snuff, and it would appear that he wants to make amends. As Gisiel has another chance. Has he hit the post again? He has. Oh, I feel bad for him. I do find sometimes if a player just isn't performing for you, just take him out of the team for a couple of games and bring him back in, and he'll come in with a point to prove. Anyway, Shvetsov is bouncing around in the box. How have we not scored to start this game? The woodwork has denied us twice. And there's only 17 minutes gone. Oh, I mean, if we don't win this now, we're going to look back on the first 20 minutes and regret the fact we couldn't get a further goal ahead. Anyway, another free kick for us here. Leskinen whips it in. Back post. It falls out to Gisiel. What can he do? The magician. The Kakar of Taulor. Backheels it to Shvetsov. Whips in Turnbull. Where is the defence? I'm not going to complain about that. Dylan Turnbull, tidy little finish. Shvetsov turning supplier. They've done a little bit of a role swap this year. Shvetsov's gone from being the goal scorer to being the kind of assist man, the wingman. What was the defence doing, though, here? I mean, that does not look like Premier League defending to me, but we're not going to complain. Dylan Turnbull, 6th goal of the season for him. And after a very dominant start to the game where we've created a hell of a lot, we find ourselves with our noses in front, although knowing our luck, we're now going to immediately concede. As Jedson Fernandez is bringing it down, getting a little caught out by their fullback going on the overlap. It's always going to be an issue with a system that utilises wing-backs like ours, but well, we've dealt with the initial ball. Now we need to deal with any further action into our box as Leskinen just launches it like a quarterback to Turnbull to latch onto. Could he double his tally for the season? Not for the season, for the game. It's saved away. Great opportunity on the counter. Not particularly sexy football, was it? Just one ball lumped forward. But I respect Leskinen just urgently getting it as far forward as he could, as we have a free kick to deal with here. For a second, I thought a penalty was going to be given. We've ended up with it. Where is Gisiel going? Where are you? Wait, I mean, I never had doubt in him. Never thought he was going to balls it up. Honest. And now we look to play the ball out from the back. So I talked about it last episode, but actually having the centre-backs set to stay wider, I have found very, very good, because they always offer a ball to the wing-backs to go backwards to, and they split quite nicely side to side with the deep-line playmaker who often comes short to get the ball. I really like having that, the deep-line playmaker, and especially with Highland, who comes deep to get the ball in like player-preferred move. He'll drop deep, and the centre-backs just split to allow him in. It's not to the same extent as a half-back necessarily, but I find that they get in much, better space when in possession of the ball, which I've really been a fan of. It might be too premature for me to recommend that everyone do it with all of their systems, but yeah, it's not something that I would have thought about experimenting with until I just, had some people mention it and saw some tactics that were utilising it. And to be honest, it works pretty well. Unfortunately, we're still struggling a little bit with that whole defending thing. Aaron Wolfenden gets the goal for them. Karamoko Dembele, of course, Celtic youngster in real life, switching the play. Matcher involved in the build-up play too. Ox had a bit of time there, didn't he, to kind of get the ball down. He didn't need to head it straight to them. I don't know if Morrigan could have done a little bit better there. I feel like the ball was right in the corner. It'd probably a little harsh. Worth noting, by the way, their fitness is a lot worse than ours. Obviously, we rested our players for 2 days after the last game. They've not done that, evidently. So I would like to believe that as this game goes on, they're going to slow up. Anyway, throw-in routine. Look at that. We're launching it forward. Dylan Turnbull headers it over. Long throws, I feel like, have been very good for the last couple of FMs, and I've never really done a lot with them. I've changed that this year. I did make a conscious effort during the off-season to kind of, experiment with tactics a little bit more, and certainly set pieces. Douglas has scored. We're just going to celebrate it. I think Maggi deserves the assist. He's done like a magic act. He made the keeper disappear. Douglas is going to celebrate like it's his goal to celebrate. It's a set piece, so it's another great bit of work from us with, a dead ball situation. Although, what the keeper's done there, I don't know. I think Maggi's put him off. That's what it looks like. We're 2-1 up, folks. We're 2-1 up against Tottenham, who are very, very good in this save game. I'm very happy with how this game has gone. Not dominating the ball as much as I would like, but you can see here, in terms of chance creation, we are doing a hell of a lot with the ball. Anyway, Douglas here, going into those wide areas, gives it to Tizzy. Lazarus down the line to Turnbull. Can he run at his man? Can he take on his man? Of course he can! Oh, I thought he was going to end up in the back of the net. Gasparini maybe slowly making amends for his previous balls up. Tizzy's on a booking, which is concerning. I'm going to take him off for Deacon. Deacon's got a thigh injury. I don't know how major that injury was. You know what? Risk it. YOLO. I'm also going to make a few more changes. We're going to take off Gissiel for Volta. And Shvetsov, I'm really sorry, mate. For a second game in a row, underwhelmed by you. Charlie Brown, get on the pitch. Set piece here. Leskinen whipping it in back post. Charlie Brown is there. And that is why we have him on the team. He's the plan B, everyone. 3-1 up. Another great set piece goal. Jarlene Leskinen whipping it in. And this time it's Charlie Brown, the beanstalk of a man. What a header that is. That is right into the top corner. I don't think that's actually savable. The keeper could have been 8 foot tall and I think it would have still looped over him. You can see by those lines it was 100% onside. What a performance here. I'm beginning to think that we have a really good team this year. I know that Chelsea game was a bit of maybe a comeback down to earth. But this performance here, make no mistake, very, very good. Douglas picks up man of the match as well. For all the criticisms that I have of our defence and that I do feel like the centre-back position is where I would like to improve, that was a really good defensive performance there as we secure a win. And Douglas, player of the match. Well played, my friend. Well played indeed. Right. I mean, I'm very surprised that we got a win today because I was kind of half expecting today to be one of those episodes where we play two of the big boys and we don't look particularly competitive. But we look competitive in both and, in fact, more than competitive against Tottenham, who played a full-strength team. Worth noting, we are filling the stadium every single game right now, so hopefully we can get another expansion going soon. Of course, the way stadiums work in FM is you can't build a brand new stadium until the previous stadium is 20 years old. I don't know what the limitation is on the capacity of our current stadium, but I'm very concerned it's not going to be that huge. And so we might run into a bit of a brick wall where we kind of expand it up to, I don't know, 20,000. And then it doesn't really work out for us. You know, in terms of we can't expand it anymore beyond that. But anyway, that's going to wrap up everything from me today, guys. Good little episode, some good little results. In terms of when we'll be back, I think we're going to come back for the game against Man City at home. It's on Friday the 21st of November. It's actually a couple of months away, but you can see a few international breaks to follow here. And I feel like I want to see us tested against all the big boys this year. You know, towards the tail end of the year, based on where we are in the league, maybe we'll do some games against slightly lesser teams, you know, games where we perhaps go in as favourites. But for now, with where we're flying, I want to see us tested at every single game week. So with that in mind, Manchester City next time. I mean, let's make it easy for us. Why not? But yes, that's all from me today. If you have enjoyed today's episode, do drop a like on it. Great little performance, great little results. Hopefully I see you on the next one tomorrow. But for now, guys, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.